Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Storm of Swords, chapters 74, 75, and 76. Arya, Samwell, and Jon. In these chapters, Arya wants to go to the wall. Sam arrives at the wall headquarters, and Jon is given the choice to leave the wall. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmit, who died in these chapters? Come on.
Okay, probably... Well, not Hound, possibly. The three people, what were their names?
Polliver, the Tickler, and Squire Boy.
Yes, exactly. Those people. And then, Mance is just under captivity. His son survived. Like a bunch of people.
His wife died.
Val didn't die.
Val's his wife's sister. Dalla was the kid's mom.
Oh my god.
I don't even know if, wife is the right word. I don't know if they were married. I don't know. But, partner.
His partner died.
Yeah.
Wait.
You're making the same mistake that, what's-his-face was making. Somebody during the chapter was like, oh yeah, and his wife, and...
That's funny. Yeah, I can't keep their names straight, because we haven't seen them enough, and now one of them's dead.
And I think 1,000 free folk died during Stannis' attack, including some major ones like Harma Dog's Head, I think.
And then there was another, big group. Or maybe that was just the one I was thinking of. But I swear there was another, not big group, but there was another, this group of people died.
Was it, all the people Bowen Marsh took out west and didn't return?
I mean, yeah, but there was also... God, what am I thinking of? Maybe that is just what I was thinking of. Was there something in Arya's chapter where it was like, oh, all these people died, LOL?
Oh, yes, Harrenhal. They put everybody to the sword.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay, because I was that's what I was going to say. There was, a bunch of mass death, but I don't know how to classify it.
The mountain kept Vargo Hoat for his entertainment or something, but other than that, pretty much everybody died.
Yeah, other than a few random specks of people, but that's a lot of people. I know we didn't have enough people to defend the castle, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a lot of people.
Yeah, and it was pretty much most of the bloody mummers, I assume, you know?
Yeah, those were that one.
And you said the Hound possibly? What do you mean by possibly?
I mean,
are you giving me a percentage of 60% chances of him dying?
No, I'm just on the fence about whether I think he's gonna die soon or not. But either way, it would be prompted by this.
So she leaves him, and then 6 days later, she gets on a ship. Do you think he died in that 6-day period?
I don't know. It's possible.
Which way are you leaning?
It's possible when you believe. I'm leaning no. Because I really think, not for any logical reason, just because I just have this, very clear picture in my mind of, I don't know, it would just be weird if him and his brother both, just kind of, passed away at the same time, you know? So, I don't know, that to me is just a little jarring. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't fit with how I understand the story.
Well, it's not like his brother's dead yet.
Yeah, but in my mind, he will be.
Okay.
So
overall, what did you think of these chapters? There were some big things happening.
These were so fun. But, I just love how dramatic the end of book chapters are. Because it's they finally... Because we always start off with this, boring turmoil is the best way for me to explain it. Because it's there's nothing happening, but people are in anguish. That's how these books start. And then eventually we get things happening, but we lose the feelings. And then finally, toward the end of the book, we start to get to these points where we combine there being plot and feelings. And it gets cool, really good, and I like it.
Cool.
That's my summary of this series.
Okay. So do you want to summarize these chapters then?
I gave you that, okay?
You totally did.
I could.
All
Once
right,
again,
so
I enjoyed these, so I don't think I'm going to be able to summarize them well.
in 3, 2.
Wait. Also, there's 3, so I'm getting lost. You're going to have to tell me the name of each. So that
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Arya.
Okay, so Arya's with the Hound. They get to the inn where they were at she was at long time ago. The 3 people from her past are there, and she's reliving the trauma, and she's like, and then they basically end up killing each other. Killing them, and then her and the Hound leave, and he's like, we're gonna go to Sea Salt and go from there, and then we're gonna go to Lysa, but then he kind of dies he's there from the wounds in anguish, and then she kind of heads out on her own, and she has Needle now, Slay. And
Switch.
Sam. Okay, Sam gets back to the wall after dropping off, doing his little chauffeur service for Bran, and then he can't tell Jon though about Bran because he promised cold hands, so he's like, but him and Jon finally reunite. They have a few moments, and he's like, wow, someone should really convince Janos or the other people to pair up against Janos Slynt, because Janos Slynt is gaining in the race for Lord Commander. So he's like, wow, I really wish someone would do that.
Jon
is fighting, and he's like, basically he's like his emotion.
Training.
No, but emotionally, he's like, and then he is like teaching this guy, and then Melisandre comes to get him, and he talks to Melisandre, which was interesting, and then he goes to Stannis, and Stannis is like, I see what you're doing. I know what these people are trying to pin you as, but I see you, and I want you to be my Lord of Winterfell. And Jon's like, I've literally been dreaming about this, and dreaming about this, and dreaming about this since I was a kid. And now...
Okay, that's it.
Yay.
All right, whatever. Moving on.
Those were whatever. That wasn't bad.
I don't know. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. I think I like it when you're bad, because then it's good.
Okay, I was gonna say, that was like, by my standards, that was a good summary.
Okay, so let's dive right into Arya's chapter. So they come upon an inn with a woman's...
Okay, also, sorry, note. So at the beginning of this chapter, you wrote, surprise, and I think you forgot that there was already an Arya chapter where it was revealed that she was alive.
I guess I went to the wrong chapter. Whoops.
So, yeah, a little belated celebration, but continue.
Okay, so anyway, they arrive at an inn where there's a woman's bones just twisting in the wind. Now, if you remember, this is Masha Heddle, I think is her name, who Tywin hanged for letting Catelyn take Tyrion in this inn. This is the inn at the crossroads. This is like where everything happens.
Please. Oh my god. Okay, I did not remember that. I was like, this is interesting. Like, I thought maybe the 3 people did it to be like, nobody else come in. Oh, like, we're so cool.
No, but
or
these
something.
are bones, like
old?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This is a while ago.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what this is. And Arya knows this inn because, like, on the way to King's Landing, they stopped there. So, like, they stopped there, then Catelyn stopped there and captured Tyrion there, and then Tywin stopped there, and I think Jaime caught up with him there, and this, like, or maybe Tyrion went back there, found the woman hanged outside. Just, like, a whole... This inn has seen a lot, is what I'm saying. Anyway, so they pull up, and Arya's like, what are you doing? We can't go in there. The people will recognize you. And the Hound's like, I don't care. You can stay outside if you want. And she, like, for a second considers, like, I could just take off right now. But then she's like, nah. And then she just ties up the horses and goes inside with him. And immediately it's clear that the people inside recognize the Hound, because it's Polliver, the Tickler, and some squire kid they have with them, and these guys are the Mountains guys, so of course they would know the Mountains brother and the whole thing, Doesn't seem like they would recognize Arya though, like in any of her iterations. Like,
Yeah,
nobody's like,
well,
oh, that's Arya Stark, or like Arya, or Weasel, or like any of the
but it makes
things that
sense.
she's
They've
been.
like
Yeah,
done so much shit, seen so many random kids.
I know. Just making note of it.
Yeah.
And Arya's like, ooh, 2 people off my list. Like, she's not really. I think she's more like, how are we going to survive this? And less like, I'm going to take some names off my list in this situation.
Especially like Miss Girl is so traumatized by these people. Like the tickling and like all of that. Like, I'm sure it's like, yeah, Arya's very much like, oh, I'm gonna do something about this, and that's why she's always like, okay, well, I'll just kill this person, or I'm just gonna do this, or like whatever. Yes, she's like an action-based person, but also I feel like when you just like see those people again, it's like you don't really, that's not your first thought, even if you're Arya. You're not like, oh, yay, now I can kill them. You're like, oh god, these people traumatized me and now they're fucking here. Like,
fair enough. Anyway, this kid, the squire, doesn't know what the fuck's happening and does not take a hint. Everybody's trying to like shut him up, but he's like, oh, what? The puppy doesn't scare me. And somebody's like,
oh my. Basically.
And the hound says something like, oh, here, innkeep, here's some money. This is probably the only money you're gonna see today because those guys ain't paying. And Polliver's like, we'll pay. And the hound's like, no, you won't. And I know you'll probably torture this guy for any money he has, and that's just what you do.
Oh, God.
And Arya's looking around, and she notices that Polliver guy's got, he's got a long sword and a dagger, but also this slim blade, too long to be a dirk and too short to be a sword. Did you get that this was needle here, or did it take until it said
I didn't
needle?
At all. Because I forgot that he was the one who had needle in the first place. Because, yeah.
I mean, that was so long ago. I don't blame you. But
it made me very happy. I was just kind of like, I think I was reading these in a bit of a rush, because I was like, we have 3 chapters to read. So with Arya's, I wasn't as, like, detail attentive. So I was kind of like, okay, whatever this means. Moving on, basically.
Yeah, but they make some polite conversation, They find out Joffrey's dead and that Tyrion's captured for it, and that Sansa killed him, killed the king with a spell, and afterward changed into a wolf with big leather wings like a bat and flew out a tower window, because why the hell not?
I love when we receive things from Arya's perspective, because yes, she's a POV, but she's also just a child. So the way she reacts to things is so entertaining, because it's so
childlike,
yeah, she'll be like, oh, but Sansa just knows songs, like,
yeah, Sansa knows songs, not spells, and she'd never marry the imp.
Yeah, like the way that she
has the choice.
Yeah, like the way that she understands things and the things that she grasps onto is so interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, it was also sad because she was like, Joffrey's dead, but then she was like, I can't even be happy that Joffrey's dead.
Because Rob's dead, so what does it matter?
And that was so sad. I was like, Arya. Oh.
Yeah, this is where we learn about, like, the mountain took Harrenhal, and this one cook opened the postern gate for them because he wanted to get back at Vargo Hoat for cutting off his foot. That's what you get, Hoat.
Oh my god.
And they, like, kept some people alive, but put the rest to the sword, and Arya's like, what? And then there's news of the Blackfish, who's still in Riverrun, but under siege, which we've kind of like heard a little bit of. Mm-hmm. But apparently they're going to hang Edmure Tully, who's still alive, unless the Blackfish hands over the castle to the Freys. And there's fighting happening between the Blackwoods and the Brackens. The Brackens on the Lannister sides now, and the Blackwoods are still holding strong for, the Starks or the Tullys or whatever. And we've heard about these two houses just constantly being at war, like, over the thousands of years that they've existed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're like, we're looking for Sansa, and I hear she was a pretty girl, and the Hound's like, oh, yeah, and a little lady, not like her bloody sister. Oh, speaking of her bloody sister, they found her, and she's for Bolton's bastard, I hear. And Arya's like, what? Sansa has no other sister. And all the Hound...
That's what I mean is, like the childlike interpretations are so cute. Like...
And Sanders just can't help but laugh, because he's like, oh my god.
He's like, if you only knew right now,
right.
like, what you would do.
So instead he asks if there are ships at the salt pans, which I love. You call them sea salts or something.
Okay, I knew I was saying it wrong, but I was like, I can't dwell on this right now because I will not get through the summary. So
Fair
I
enough.
just owned it.
So yeah, they're like, no, who cares about the salt pans? Things are happening over at Maidenpool where Randall Tarley's taken over, and we don't give a fuck about the salt pans. And then they just kind of, the tickler's like, oh, you should screw the salt pans. Come with us. I'm sure your brother would love to see you. And like casually reaches behind his head. And the hound is, he knows what's about to happen. And the tickler like chucks a knife at him as the hound moves to like throw something at the tickler. And there's like fighting breaks out, fight, die.
Basically. Hey, that's perfect because there's 3 of them. So fight, die. It works. Oh my god.
And Arya's chucking wine cups at people. She pops the squire's pimple with it, which sounds so painful, though.
Oh my god.
Not more painful than dying, but and she notices that the hound is kind of staggering a little bit. He's not up on his game as much because he's drunk. He drank too much without eating anything, and now
God.
He's all wobbly and he's taking cuts all over the place. And more fight, die. At one point, the squire comes up behind Arya and like holds her arm or like pulls her arm or something. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, oh, he had his sword in his right hand and her arm in his left, but her own hands were free. So she jerked his knife from its sheath and sheathed it again in his belly.
Please.
So
twisting.
Quick thinking. Oh my God. Good for you, Arya.
Arya's a fighter.
I mean, at this point, I don't even like. We're concerned about her. Obviously, she's turned into a little murderer, but like also, I don't blame her. So like, go off, girl.
Yeah. It's. Yeah, I think.
Like, did this kid deserve to die? No, but most people don't, and I can no longer debate the morality of the characters in this book. I just
so real. It's yeah, because then you fall down rabbit holes, and then it's like, okay, I can't enjoy this book if I'm debating everything in my head for 2 hours.
Like, if I think about this logically, this is not great. But if I think about this, like, in the moment, I'm like, yes, go Arya.
If you think about it from as slay Arya, then yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna choose to do that from now on.
Yeah.
Or until eventually when I have the energy to not do that yet.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I feel like this is a constant thing. Every time she kills someone, I'm like, Arya, please. But.
Yeah, anyway. I think the hound kills Polliver, and then the tickler is like facing off against the hound and kind of backing away, and Arya just kind of steps up behind him and stabs him.
Oh God.
And then asks him the very questions that he used to ask the people that he was torturing over and over again, and keeps stabbing him over and over again. Mm-hmm. Capital T trauma.
Yay!
Kid that she stabbed is like, oh my God, please help me, take me to a maester, and blah blah blah. She's like, I don't care. And then she goes and grabs Needle, and
Yay!
Squire's begging for mercy, and she gives it to him.
When she said it was the easiest thing in the world to come up and like stab the tickler, that was my ick, where I was like, maybe we don't,
Killing people should not be easy.
Yeah, like maybe, okay, because even with the squire, it was like, okay, he could go back and report to Gregor, and like, there is a safety concern here, but being like, killing this person was so easy, I'm so skilled, and this is just like, boxing with a dummy, like, that was not giving.
Yeah. But was this like Needle slipped between his ribs and gave it to him? Is that where you were like, oh, this is Needle? Did it take until that point?
Yes. Yeah, there was no clue in this brain. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right before that, it says hanging beside his dagger was a slimmer blade, too long to be a dirk, too short to be a man's sword, but it felt just right in her hand.
I read too quickly. So I register after I read, so that was not a clue at all, because it didn't register.
But it fell right in her hand, and it's kind of like a reunion with John, but not really.
True. I mean, she's hoping for a better one coming up, but it's nice to see. It's nice that, like, we have a couple chapters in a row where swords kind of go to people that they should go to. And it's just nice. Like with Brienne getting Ned's, and then now Arya getting hers back. It's like a nice little thing.
Yay, sword reunions. It's a reunion of swords, not a storm.
Please. In another world, this was a happy ending book, maybe.
We haven't even gotten to the ending.
Okay, yeah, but, like, enough shit has happened that nothing can, like, fully make up for everything yet.
Right. Okay. So they're heading out, and the Hound's plan is to go to the salt pans, get a ship, and reach the Vale by sea, and, this way give Arya to her aunt, or ransom Arya to her aunt. And maybe her aunt will marry Arya to little Robert. And here we to think like that Sansa's in that position now.
Oh, God.
That's a match I'd like to see, the Hound said.
You know what match you wouldn't like to see, Hound? The one that's actually happening with this Robert.
Right.
I can't.
Yaya is just going wild. I can feel it. She said it! Harmut said it! Anyway, they head out. The Hound is in rough shape. He's taken a bunch of injuries.
But, like, badass. Adrenaline badass. Go off, sir.
I guess. And,
like, this is impressive. Think about the injuries he has, and he's just like, yep, let's, like, find a tree.
Yeah,
and, like, he makes it there.
Idiotic. Like, treat your injuries, dude.
Yeah, but, like, they gotta get somewhere safe.
That's
just
true.
Stay here.
You know what? I get it. Okay. So, it doesn't matter anyway. He's dead. Probably.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
So, they stop at some point and pour boiling wine over his wounds to try to cauterize them. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not really working because, he's still not doing much better. And Arya is, so that's like where they've stopped for the night. And as she's falling asleep, she's saying her little prayer, and she's got Sir Gregor, Dunsen, Raff the Sweetling, Sir Ilyn, Sir Meryn, and Queen Cersei on her list. And she's like, oh my god, I've taken out Polliver and Tickler and Joffrey. My list is getting small. I gotta make some more enemies. And then
basically.
And then she's like, oh my god, I've left out the Hound's name. Why did I do that? And she tries to like think of Micah, but then she's like, I can't even remember what that kid looked like. Yeah, but then she's like, well, all he ever did was play swords with me, and this guy killed him. So then she adds his name to the end of her list. The Hound, Valar Morghulis, blah, blah, blah.
This was an interesting struggle in this chapter. I think she definitely hasn't fully forgiven the Hound, but I feel like if she ended up, like, if she realized, oh, I didn't say the Hound's name, and then didn't say his name, that would have been a nice little arc.
Right, but instead she's like, no, I'm gonna double down.
Yeah, instead she's like, oh wait, I was about to have mercy on this guy, but you don't deserve mercy. Basically what she does later, but like in her head.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, of course I understand it. Like, the Hound has never been nice to her. Even this entire time, yes, he's like, in a way, he's like saved her life and kept her, not saved her life, but he's kept her alive, right? And I guess he did save her life because he prevented her from going in there and trying to like save her mom all on her own, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that, like, in that way he has done good for her. But it's also like, he hasn't been nice to her, he killed her friend, objectively he's not like the best person. So I get it, but I also just want Arya to, like, see beyond that, too. and also see, like, what he has done for her and, like, the good that he is capable of. But also, like, I don't know, I'm just very torn. I'm torn with my own self, and I don't know how I feel about Arya's decisions here and later.
Okay, well, let's get there. So they wake up the next morning and head on out, but not, like, that far out. The Hound is, like, near collapse, so he calls for a halt, and he's not looking good. His face is bleeding, like, real bad, but the wound on his thigh is smelling real funny to her.
Oh, God.
So infection and things and stuff. And she's like, well, I don't even have to kill him. I can just ride off and he would die himself because he's not in good shape.
Yeah, he not be doing good.
Exactly. But then she's like, maybe it would be better if I did kill him, like, myself, and, like, made an end to it, because he did kill my friend Micah. And she draws Needle to do just that. When the Hound opens his eyes and is like, remember where the heart is? And she's like, I mean, and he's like, it's fine. You can kill me. But by the way, I killed your friend. And he's trying to, like, incite her with all these things. And I watched as your pretty sister I let them beat her. I took the bloody song. She never gave it. And I also meant to take her, and I should have.
Ick. Get out.
Yeah. Moving on. He's basically like, are you going to make me beg? Just do it. Just give me the gift of mercy and avenge your Micah. And then she's like, oh, he says, avenge your little Michael. I didn't even notice that while reading. I think I just, like, autocorrected in my head. And she corrects him by saying Micah. And she's like, you know what? You don't fucking deserve my mercy. So she leaves him and rides off.
I get it. And then he, like, on top of all that, he was like, oh, Michael, come on, buddy.
Yeah, Michael. So this is her. She rides off because she doesn't want to give him mercy. Or does she ride off because she doesn't want to kill him? Which one do you think it is?
I don't know.
Well, give me a guess.
I don't think that I think she thinks it's because she doesn't want to give him mercy. But I think it's a bit of both. I do think it's a bit of both. Because I think she's ruthless. So I do think it is she doesn't want to give him mercy. But I also think that, like, part of her like, does acknowledge that, like, he's more gray. Like, he's not just, like, the worst person she's ever met. So I think part of her is understanding that, but she kind of wants to push that away. So I do think it's a bit of both.
All right.
But I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't like it, and I don't want to think about it, so I'm shunning it.
Okay.
In my head.
What do you want it to be?
I want it, because I think especially, like, with her becoming, like, this, like, ruthless murderer baddie girly pop, I want there to be this sense of, like, and also, like, there's no one here to teach her anymore, and, like, even before when she had, like, Sirio feels like the only person who really ever taught her, because I feel like Ned didn't really pay attention to his kids, in all honesty, especially at King's Landing. Catelyn, I don't think she was as effective with Arya, because she didn't really understand her, from what I got. So she wasn't as effective as she would have been with her other kids. Septa, I mean, the teaching just wasn't right for how Arya needed to learn. I feel like Sirio was the only person who really ever taught Arya, and even that was only for a couple of months. So I feel like with all of those aspects, it's like I think
it was more than a couple months. It was a few months, but go on.
Okay. I have no sense of time in these books, but sounds good. So, like, all of that, I just feel like she needs, I don't know, I just really need her to acknowledge the gray more often, and, like, just be more, like, instead of, like
hold on to the humanity in her.
Because otherwise we're gonna go too much in the other direction. So I think so it's
you want it to be that she didn't want to kill him.
Yeah, because even if, like, I'm not gonna say that the Hound didn't deserve it, but also I think it's weird to be like, someone deserved to die. Like, I think that's a weird thing to say, but we say it, but whatever, I don't want to get into that, because I'm gonna start overthinking. But also, like, it's so I think, it's not that I think he deserved or didn't deserve to die, I just don't want Arya to be like, you deserve to die, therefore I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
Because I just need her to learn the other side that she hasn't
explored yet. Fair enough. Okay. Well, 6 days later, like, we don't really, she never looks back once, and neither do we. So 6 days later, she comes upon the port at the salt pans, and she's looking around, and people are like hustling, bustling, not really paying attention to her, because, like, you know, it's not so strange in a port to find strangers. So, and she's like, oh, I need money to charter a ship. Forgot about that. I should have taken all that money that the Hound had. Apparently, he had a stag in each toe and 3 golden dragons sewn in the lining of his jerkin. I imagine these are golden dragons from, like, his winnings in King's Landing, most of which the Brotherhood Without Banners took, but he had these 3 left. Not that they would be worth much anymore.
Yeah.
But still, hey, they could have bought her passage somewhere. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay, well, I can't do anything about that. I didn't take his money. So, also, why didn't you take his money? I guess she was just, like, so in the moment. She didn't really think about, like, logistical, practical things in the moment.
Yeah.
She was like, I just can't even look at his face anymore. And it would be weird if she was like, I can't look at you. And then, like, turned back and, like, started shuffling through his shoes, you know?
Yeah.
It would take away from the gravity of the moment.
I think part of her also probably, like, I don't know, she would probably feel a little bit ashamed doing that. I would hope. Because she's like, I can't give you mercy, but let me, like, take the money.
He doesn't need it anymore if he's dead.
I know, but it's just, like, a weird, like, hey, you're about to die, so why don't you just give me what you have? It's like talking about someone's will, like, being like, oh, so I'm in your will for your house, right? Like, to me, it's just, like, the equivalent of that, so it just feels weird. It's like, let the person die in peace.
Fair enough. Okay. Anyway, either way, she does not have money, so she has to sell the horse that she was on. And she tries to make this whole story about, oh, this is a great horse. It belonged to my brother who was a knight. And the woman who's buying it off of her is like, listen, I have been dealing with highborn lords my entire life, and this horse is well-bred. You, however, are not, which is...
If you only knew. Because, like, you're kind of right, but you're also not.
Yeah, but it's also, like, a good, like, yeah, you can't tell what somebody's class is just by looking at them, you know?
Oh, 100%.
It's a class of system, so what the fuck does it matter? Anyway, she uses this as an excuse to give Arya whatever little meager amount she can, because otherwise it's going to turn into a whole thing. So Arya just takes what she gets and heads on over to the harbor. And there's a couple of river galleys, but there's one ship there. So she pulls up on the ship and is asked to speak to the captain. And the captain's like, what do you want, kid? And she says, I want to go north to the wall. Did you think that's what she was going to say? What did you think she was going to say?
I don't think I, like, got a chance to think about it.
Okay.
But I didn't think she was gonna go to Lysa.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't think I had thought, like, oh, where does she want to go? Like, I just kind of read the chapter and then stopped to think.
Yeah, because during the chapter, she's thinking how, like, even in Riverrun, it's her mom's uncle who doesn't know her, not a Stark.
Yeah,
even exactly. Lysa, not a Stark.
Exactly.
Like,
because she's already, like, these people aren't Starks. They're just some, like, random freaking relatives.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But this makes total sense.
Yeah.
John, her, like, only remaining living sibling, or even family member. Oh no, that's so sad.
No, remember, most of her siblings are actually alive. She just doesn't know it.
But she doesn't know that. Ugh, God, that's so sad.
She knows that Sansa's alive, so that's something.
Okay, yeah, but, like, that also bugs me so much that bugs me so much that they never, like, think about each other, and they never, like, neither of them have ever been like, you know, I regret making fun of her that time, or, like, doing that. Like, even the Lannisters like, do that, and you're telling me these Stark girlies can't be like, but also none of the Stark siblings do. Like, they don't even think about each other.
Maybe acknowledging that would make it hurt more that they're not together anymore. Maybe if they ever were to reunite, at that point they could, like, pull out those things. Because right now it's just like, oh, if I start thinking about how horrible I was to her, then I'm just going to think about how I'm never going to get to make amends, and that's going to be no good, you know?
Okay, true. No, fine. Fine, whatever. Stumped me on that one. Mm-hmm.
I like it when that happens.
Stumped me with your empathy.
So, she gives, like, the guy all the money she has, and he's like, she can tell from his face that it's not, like, a lot of money. And she's like, I'll work for you and whatever, just take me to Eastwatch. And he's like, well, even if you had enough money, I couldn't, because there's them pirates out there. We saw a dozen pirate ships making north as we rounded Claw Point. So we know those are the pirates that Stannis took.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So, connections. If only she had, like, been able to, you know, catch a ride with the pirate ships to Eastwatch.
Please. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but the point is they're not going north, they're going home, and the guy's like, you should go home too, and she's like, I have no home. And she asks, what kind of ship is this? Like, what's the ship called? And he says, this is the Titan's daughter of the free city of Braavos. And hearing that triggers Arya's memory, and she's like, I got something else. And she started digging around in her underwear for the for the Bravosi coin she has. God. She passes it to the guy and does the whole Valar Morghulis. And immediately he's like, Valar Dohaeris, of course you shall have a cabin. What do you think?
What? What is happening?
What is happening?
Like, whoomst, what? Okay, also, this reminded me, do you remember when I don't think I guessed it exactly, but I got very close. Or not very close, but I was on the right path to what Valar Morghulis meant, because I was like, oh, I just looked at the word and did some, like, etymology, and, like, Morghulis has to be, like, death, and, like, morgue. So I tried to do the same thing, but I think it was less successful this time.
With Valar Dohaeris?
Yes.
Right. Have we heard that before, like, in any of Dany's chapters? No. Because, like, Dany was the one who, like, confirmed Valar Morghulis means all men must die,
but there was no, like, call and response going on there.
So maybe we'll find out. I don't want to tell you.
I want to know.
Okay, first off, why does this guy look at this coin and immediately is like, you'll have a cabin?
Because maybe it's, like, super rare. Like, because especially the way Jaqen gave it to her, it wasn't giving, here's $1 for the train.
Let's, like,
it was
recall
giving, here's...
Yeah, let's recall the circumstances of him giving it to her. She doesn't want him to leave because, you know, her death genie. And he's like, well, come with me. And she's like, I can't. I've got to go to River Run or some shit. And so he's like, okay, fine. If the day comes when you would find me again, give that coin to any man from Braavos and say these words to him. Valar Morghulis. So, this was to find Jaqen H'ghari.
Ooh. Okay.
Do you think she will... So this ship is going to Braavos, so she's going to Braavos?
I think no. Okay, but the thing is I have so many questions because we don't know anything about this man. So it's so hard to make predictions.
Well, we know he's a faceless man, like we've kind of...
Yeah. But, like, my question is, okay, so from his little spiel to her, right? It makes it seem like, okay, like it could be, oh, if you want to come to Braavos and I'll be there and we'll have a tea and you'll come to my house. But it could also be like, if you want to get to me wherever I am.
But then also, how would any random person know wherever he is?
It's like a secret door.
So you think she's going to go find Jaqen then?
Yes, I think so.
And what will she do when she meets him or finds him or whatever?
She'll be like, I want to go to Winterfell. Why am I here? I was trying to go to Winterfell. This was supposed to be payment.
Yeah, but Winterfell no longer exists. So.
Or, sorry, why did I say Winterfell? I meant the Wall. She'll be like, why didn't they just take me to the Wall? That's what I was trying to do, not summon you. And then maybe we'll learn about Jaqen and, like, what he's up to and who he's hired to kill.
Yeah, but... Okay, it doesn't matter.
Because we don't know what his mission was.
Right.
When he was, like, got arrested and, like...
Exactly, yeah. We don't know what's going on. And we also don't know what face he'll be wearing the next time we see him. Okay, so... predictions. Okay, so you think Arya's going to find Jaqen Hagar, but is she going to Bravos to find him?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, where is it heading? Just somewhere?
Wherever the bridge that Jaqen is on is.
Okay.
I don't know where the bridge is.
Wow, we've come to a conclusion about the bridge, but I feel like reminding you is just like spoiling you.
It's not spoiling if I forget it.
But now I'm like, maybe I'm misremembering and we didn't come to a conclusion about the bridge.
I don't remember coming to a conclusion. I just remember you naming like 10 different places that had bridges and us being like, oh, it's gotta be one of them.
Okay, well, moving on then.
I'm gonna guess, oh my god, like the one in like the Iron Islands.
Okay, so on the other side of the continent?
Yes!
Okay, fine.
Why you gotta do that to my theories?
Now they gotta, like, so they're in the Narrow Sea, kind of right above King's Landing. They're going to sail out from there, go all the way south, around Dorne, around the Reach, up next to the Lannister land, and all the way to the Iron Islands.
Okay, you know what? Fine. They'll go to the King's Landing Bridge or the... I don't remember any of the other ones. Isn't there one in King's Landing? Like the one that connects like the two
So
keeps?
This guy somehow magically knows where Jaqen Hagar is. And he's going to take her there. The coin's going to turn into a map and guide him there. It's going to be a compass secretly telling him the way to go.
Okay, fine. He'll just take her to Bravos.
I don't know. I'm not saying relent your theory. I'm just saying defend your theory.
No, but that sounds ridiculous. You make my theories sound ridiculous.
'Cause they are.
Yeah, but this book is ridiculous. So what do you want me to do? Okay,
fine. Whatever. Arya's headed somewhere.
I just feel like I lack enough information to make an informed prediction about this.
I think you forget enough information is what's happening.
Whatever. You know what? There is so much to keep track of in these books, and I am like the worst person for this because my memory is literally terrible, and I feel like I need to start making a mind map of like everything that happens in these books.
Don't you take notes every time?
I do take notes, but that doesn't mean I'm going to remember every single note, and how am I supposed to reference, like, how, it's not like I can control F, okay? This is not digital, I can't control F. For other things, you know what I do? Usually I don't have to worry about this, because I can just go on Wikipedia and control F what I'm looking for, because the thing is, when you remind me of it, all the other details come back. But it's like I either have nothing, or I remember all of it. But until I get the reference point, nothing comes back. But I can't search anything up for the series, so there is like zero reference point other than just like me and my little scrawls.
Okay, let me control F on your behalf. What would you like me to look up?
I don't know. The prophecy thingy. Like, was there anything else to it other than him just standing on a bridge?
Okay.
The one of...
Like from the Ghost of High Heart?
Yeah.
I dreamt of a man without a face, waiting on a bridge that swayed and swung. On his shoulder perched a drowned crow with a seaweed hanging from his wings.
Oh! That's why I was thinking it was the Greyjoy Castle. See, my thoughts come from somewhere. I just can't identify where they come from.
Yes, but also later we hear that Balon Greyjoy is dead. And that he died the day before his brother the crow's eye showed up on the island.
Oh my god, I remember that now!
Now you do.
You could have told me that! That's not a spoiler, we knew that!
I know, but like you just don't remember anything.
But that doesn't mean that you can't tell me! That's the point of you being here to help!
But it's also just drawing connections. Like, we don't know that the crow means the crow's eye. We're just, like, guessing.
No, but we already did.
So your theory is still that they're going to the Iron Islands or all the way around the continent?
Yes! 100%. Now it's 100% my theory.
Oh my god. Okay.
Did you just say stupid under your breath? Because how dare you?
I didn't say anything.
I'm gonna be right, and then you're gonna shake.
Fine.
Well, you already know so you're gonna have to shake.
I'm not gonna shake.
I don't know why I said shake it off. Shake it, like, I don't know. Anyway, you're gonna have to shake it off, but like a maraca?
Okay, can we get back on topic? So, the Hound, dead or not? Just yes or no?
Yes, because these books are cruel, and watch
moving
Gregor
on.
survive and Sandor not survive.
I think that's Arya. So she gets to Jaqen Hagar and or the Iron Islands and does what?
Vibes. He tells her his plan. He's like, "Oh, this is what I was hired for. What are you up to? You should join me."
Silly plan, though.
It's not a silly plan. Shh. It does make sense. Shh. And he's gonna be like, "Why?" He's like, "You like to kill people from your stories. Why don't you join me?"
Also, why would Jaqen Hagar be hanging around the Iron Islands months after having killed Balon Greyjoy?
Well, because wasn't the whole point of killing Balon so that brother can also continue, like, fighting and be like, I should be king now?
Yeah, but what does that have to do with Jaqen Hagar?
Like, maybe he has to see that to completion or something.
Okay, sure. So, Samwell? Mance Rayder's partner is dead. Hela, something. And her kid was born unnamed because they don't name them till they're 3 years old, and is now being breastfed by Gilly because Gilly is here, because Sam is here, and all of that thing. And Val is there, the sister of Dalla, and they're talking about the shit that's gone down. All the people are here. Sam ran into Sir Dennis Mallister and his people going to Castle Black on his way to Castle Black. And Ed Tullett is one of them, so that's great. And Mance Rayder has been taken captive. 1,000 free folk have died, and the rest have scattered. And I think another 1,000 have been captured too, so yay. Also, where are they keeping 1,000 captives?
No idea. Maybe, like, all the castles spread across. They, like, send people over.
Yeah. So Stannis is here, but his wife is still in Eastwatch, where he left her with their daughter. And he brought no woman but the red one.
Oh my god.
And there's talk of how she burned a man alive at Dragonstone, so Stannis would have favorable winds for his voyage north. Who do you think this is that they burned? Because no, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. Who else was, like, King's blood?
Anybody missing from this chapter? A certain hand without a hand? Or fingers?
You think
I don't know.
Davos?
All I'm saying is Davos is not here.
I don't think it's Davos.
So where is Davos?
Davos is, like, back at Eastwatch, like, commanding people and making sure things are going okay.
All right. So you don't think it's Davos because
Davos is literally the reason that they're here. He's not gonna, like,
well, it would be Stannis-like thing to be like, oh, you served me well.
Now you're gonna die. No, I think that Stannis
so I'm gonna say what you do, but I'm gonna kill you for it still.
No. I think Stannis...
He did cut off the man's fingers.
Yeah.
For being a smuggler.
Yes, but recently he has also done things that he would have never done. So I think there's been a little bit of a morality shift in that way. Also, then he proceeds to be like, oh my god, we're only here because of Davos. And it's true, they are only here. I feel like he would have totally used it and been like, we're only here because of Davos. But I don't treat people well when they cross me. Because he did something, and now he's still dead. Even though he's the reason I'm here. Like, I just don't think that he would kill Davos for this. I think that I've become too much of a Stannis sympathizer, and I want better for him. So I think that that's the issue. But I don't think Davos is dead.
Anyway, Jon is being credited with capturing the Horn of Winter and the Wildling Prince, because he basically kept them from running off or being killed during the kerfuffle.
Oh my god.
And Jon's like, I just stood there. Like, I didn't capture them, really. I just waited for people to get there. Oh, there's also rumors that Melisandre is going to burn Mance as soon as he's strong enough. So he's injured now. So it's kind of like giving Tywin waiting for the mountain to be cured until he beheads him.
I think Tywin and Melisandre would get... Imagine if Tywin and Melisandre were on the same side. They would literally be unstoppable.
Anyway, so they leave the kids and the people in the tower, and so by they, I mean Sam and Jon, and they're talking about what to do, and Sam's like, you know what, is it cool if you lie if it's for the good? Because I'm thinking of lying to my dad and telling him that this kid, Gilly's kid, is my kid, and hoping that they can find a space for them at Hornhill. And Jon's like, I mean, if you think it'll work and Gilly can keep the secret, then sure. Go ahead and give it a try. So, do you think this will work out?
Yes. I'm hopeful.
And Jon is like reassuring him, like, yeah, that could be a good plan. It's not unknown for bastards to be trained as squires and raised to knighthood. Meanwhile, when he was like deciding on whether to swear his vows to the Night's Watch, he was like, I have nothing else in my life, so I may as well. Why didn't this occur to you when you were unsure, you know?
'Cause emo Jon.
Honestly.
Yeah. I think he also was just like, I think it's also different because like with like Ned had like other sons and like and so like his like, but in this case it's like it'll be like the only kid.
No, his dad literally has another son who is now his heir.
No, but like it'll be like Sam's like only kid. So it'll be more like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's like, oh, it's like your only kid. So there's more of like a like. And it's like not, and I think also because like the kid would be much younger than, or actually I don't know that. Sam's like
brother.
Sam's dad's brother. I was about to say Sam's dad's heir. Sam's brother. No, I was about to say Sam's dad's son. But then
But then you said Sam's dad's brother.
But that's not what I was trying to say. I just misspoke. But okay, Sam's brother.
Yeah.
Does he have kids yet?
No, I think he is a kid or like teenager, something along those lines.
Okay.
I would put him like in my best guesstimation would be that he's a tween.
I think just because of like the age difference, and also with him like kind of like the kid kind of just showing up, I feel like it'll be a different dynamic than with Jon. But I also think Jon's just was like an emo child, and even if he'd considered it, he would have been like, oh, but it wouldn't work out anyway.
Yeah, maybe it's that they don't make as many knights in the north. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So,
or maybe just with Catelyn's hatred, he was like, she would never let me even do that. I have to go away.
I guess that makes more sense. So they have been noticing the difference between the Queen's men and the King's men and like that whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is where Jon's like, yeah, it wasn't me who protected Val. I just did the thing. I'm just basically reading all my highlights because there's a lot of like blah, blah, blah in this chapter and like few things of note.
Please. Oh my gosh.
We find out that there has been an election ongoing to choose the next Lord Commander. And it's been going for like 9 or 10 days. I think we catch up with them on the 10th day.
Yeah.
And apparently Alzer Thorne was one of the ones who put it forth his name, but he kept losing votes. And after the 6th day, he withdrew. and started supporting Janos Slint. Janos Slint, who is rising, his vote count is rising every day. Meanwhile, the two guys that are at the top are Sir Dennis Mallister and Cotter Pike, who are rivals and don't agree with each other on anything, but they're holding the two top spots. And if they were to team up, they could win the election because they need a 2/3 majority to be elected, but they would never team up, so that sucks. Instead, Janos Slint gets to benefit from it.
Oh, God.
And it's all like a real sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, this chapter's where, like, last John chapter, we were wondering if John knows that Rob's dead. He does know Rob's dead. I just don't remember when we found out that John found out.
Maybe it was, like, when his dreams started happening, too, and then he was like, I've seen Rob in my dreams, and too.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, but Sam's wanting to comfort him and be like, hey, Bran's not dead. I saw him. He's going north on a giant elk to find a three-eyed crow in the depths of the haunted forest.
Oh my God.
But he can't say it because he swore both to Bran, to Jojen Reed, and Cold Hands that he would not tell. So Sam is determined to keep this promise.
This is so annoying. But it's John. John's not going to do anything with this information.
Well, John might just be like, oh my God, my brother's alive. I'm going to run after him. That's kind of a John-like thing to do.
But
he's going north to all the others. I can't let him. I have to go find him.
Okay, fine. He would probably do that. John does have a savior complex, right? For sure.
So...
yeah, but he's just a leader, you know? That's just what it is.
Sure.
You physically, like, cringed at me saying that, and I don't think I've seen you, like, physically cringe at me before.
It's not that John isn't a leader. It's that you're just such a John fangirl.
John is a leader!
I didn't say that he isn't. It's your worship of him that's cringy.
I don't worship John. I just think that he's good at his job.
What job? He doesn't have a job. Except as temporary master-at-arms because nobody else has it. Yeah. So he has been training the new recruits.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway.
But that's where I'm getting, because that's the next point. I'm trying to transition us. I was trying to segue.
Okay, fine. Do your transition.
Well, you've ruined it completely.
Okay, fine. If I ruined your transition, then I just want to say one more thing. Shut up. Okay. There's like this whole thing of them being like, oh wow, John like captured these people. John captured this princess for us and this like child. Wow, John. And he's like, you guys, like I literally did not do that. I just like kind of kept them safe, like whatever. And it's like this whole conflict, but it's like inner conflict with him, but it's also just like them just like it's so icky that they just like refuse to listen to him with that. Like they're like, oh no, you like your backs, and like for you to be on our side again, it must have been that you captured them for us. Like it's just really icky and I don't like it.
Yeah. I have no comments. I have no thoughts, really. Even
what are thoughts?
So he is recruiting some of the raw recruits. That's what it says. That's literally what kind of.
Oh God, I hate that.
It's also
can't
hard
handle the word
say.
Raw anymore.
Blah blah blah. After 9 days, nobody's winning, and yeah, it's just a mess. And Sam's like, "Well, it's fine. Janos Slint won't win." And John's like, oh, you sweet fool. Look around. It's been happening for days. And Sam's like, oh, you're right. He's been creeping up the ranks every day. And he like goes to the Maester's tower and he's remembering kind of the counts from the other day. And he's like, okay, this guy's the leading and this is the second and blah, 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 blah. I do love that Dolorous Ed has been nominated with one vote, and it's Pip who's doing it. But also in the vote that they have this like that is to come, Dolores said does that speech where he's like, I'm not qualified for this job no more than anybody else in this lineup. And he has 2 votes at the end of that day. He wants somebody over with that speech.
Please. Yeah, so funny.
So Sam's tending to the ravens, and he's taught them to say snow, which I'm sure John will love.
That's adorable.
Yeah, and it's supper time. So they're, sitting around and they have they're eating roasted mammoth or something, which is a special treat that Three Finger Hob made for them and is trying to bribe people for votes. But in the end, I think he gets 5 votes. And somebody's like, who are these 5 people that keep voting for him? And somebody's like, oh, it's probably the people who don't like his cooking because they want him out of the kitchen and into a different role.
I can't.
So yeah, they're just, having dinner, whatever. And as the vote is approaching, Sam's noticing that Bowen Marsh is sitting next to, what's his face, Janos Slint.
Ick.
Sir Alistair is sitting with Othel Yarwick, one of the other candidates. And it's clear they're trying to maneuver things. And then where the vote begins, Maester Aemon asks if anybody would like to say anything. And then Bowen Marsh gets up. And he's like, hey, I'm going to withdraw my name because I'm still recovering. But I'm going to give my vote to Lord Janos here. And so should y'all.
Oh my god.
And Cotter Pike's looking around like, oh my god, they've got another candidate on their side, and he can see his lead slipping away and all of that stuff. And the way they vote, because most people can't read or write, is that they use these tokens, and you cast a token. The shape of your token, or the token you choose, belongs to a specific candidate, and people can, if they're working during the voting time, they can get a friend to vote for them and that kind of thing. There's all these logistical things.
That's so cute. That's so healthy. I love that.
Yeah, but who's keeping track of that? Do they have a consent form? But how are they going to have a consent form if they can't read? I was,
I know, but they're trying.
I want to know the exact logistics of this. Dennis Mallister and Cotter Pike vote for their garrisons. And what if their entire garrison hates them?
Yeah, well, they're not here to say it, so sucks to suck.
I'm just saying, Anyway.
It's not the best way to do it, but it's better than I would have expected from them.
Yeah, basically the voting happens. Jon Snow does not show up for the vote or dinner or any of it. And they've both Mallister and Cotter Pike are losing votes, whereas Janos Slint has gained several, doubled his votes, basically.
God.
So has Dolores said, though, so let's not discount him,
Right, yes. Only 200 more to go, Dolores.
Yeah, and Maester Aemon's like, oh, it's not enough to declare anybody the winner, but that's not a big deal. We'll take our time. It's how it is. There was once a choosing that lasted nearly 2 years.
What the fuck? That is not okay.
That's wild.
At that point, at least have an interim, because then what are they doing for 2 years?
Yeah, who's dealing with I don't know.
Yeah, is just nothing happening? Was it just 2 years of summer, so it was less of a concern? I don't understand.
Yeah, anyway, so they wrap up, and they're Pip and Sam and Gren are hanging out, drinking and stuff. And Sam's like, if only someone could convince Cotter Pike and Dennis Mallister to team up, it'd be great. Gren's
Please.
Who someone? Sam's like, if only we explained to him. And then Pip's like, how did someone change to we? Who are we?
Oh my god.
You are a lord's son and the maester's steward and Sam the Slayer. Maybe you could be the someone, but we are not the someone.
Oh my god.
You could talk to them. And Sam's like, maybe I could if I wasn't too craven to face them. And that's the end of the chapter. Do you think he would do that?
I think he would do it.
So, what agreement would they come to?
Maybe like Dennis, because he was like in the lead. So it could kind of be like, hey buddy, you can be my like second in command, you know?
Okay, so your prediction is that Dennis Malister becomes the Lord Commander with Cotter Pike as second in command.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's not Janos Slint, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you, like, we don't know these guys. Is there any, who would you vote for? Would you vote for Dolores Ed?
No. I think I would probably just vote for the guy in the lead to keep Janos from getting it.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Strategic voting. It sucks, but sometimes you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You said that Gilly going to Hornhill would probably work out.
Yeah.
So maybe
or she'll die, she'll die before then. There's no in between.
Die where?
She'll either like just like die here and like her kid will survive and then he'll need to just like send the kid or something, or she'll make it and it'll be good.
But if she also dies, who's gonna breastfeed all these kids that are popping up?
Well, LOL.
They're just gonna starve and die also.
Although like,
Nameless.
We might just have to get oh god, we might just have to get some alternative foods.
The potions that Maester Aemon is brewing.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how he was like, oh, and Maester Aemon's potions. Like, instead of saying, like, formula, potions. It was just really funny.
Yeah.
Also, can a baby, newborn, like, because the other thing they've been feeding this kid is goat's milk. Can babies drink goat's milk? Okay, this is not, I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know. Like,
because, like, formula is specifically formulated for babies, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it's definitely not like good for them. Like, you're definitely not supposed to do that, but I don't think it would
maybe it's better than starving, so they were like, whatever.
Yeah. Like, it might not kill them, you know? But, like, so that might be, like, the pro. But it's definitely not, like, good for the baby, because they definitely can't handle it. So it might be, like, it might just cause, like, digestion issues and, like, that sort of thing. But I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, those are logistics we don't need to get into.
But we will, because we're us.
Yes, well, I wanted to get into election logistics, and you were like, well, it doesn't matter. They're trying.
No, well, just because I just really liked the fact that they had, like, oh, if you're at work, you can still vote. Like, it was just giving.
No, that is good. I just want to know exactly how they enforce it.
But the issue is that they haven't given us anything to work on. Or, like, work off of. And I don't think they do enforce it. Is why I think they just kind of are like, oh, we're doing this, like, really progressive thing. But
also,
don't criticize us on how we do it.
Okay, I'm going to come up with something else. So they go vote behind a curtain, but they grab the tokens from outside the curtain. But the token you grab is the token you vote.
Yeah.
So how is it anonymous at all?
It's not. It's just, like, vibes are anonymous. It's like when you do Secret Santa, but they see you walk in with the gift. And they see what your gift looks like, and they can just remember it. It's basically that, because then you have someone, like, if you're watching out for, like, oh, wow, I feel like that
Secret
person's
Santa
gonna vote.
and the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, the only shield against the others. Very, very equal stakes.
I'm just saying, it's a comparison. But I'm just saying, you know? It's like...
Also, like, bribery is just totally allowed because the cook is able to be like, hey, vote for me and I'll give you cool food.
Please. Yeah. But maybe it's, like, implied, but it's not technically illegal because homie doesn't say anything. It's just kind of like, oh, well, I made you this good food. Also, I'm in an election tomorrow, you know?
It's unrelated. We just happen to have mammoth meat, so I thought I would roast it.
Yeah, because I would totally be doing this regardless, but, I'm just so nice that, why wouldn't you?
Right. Okay, so the only prediction really is Malister's gonna win. Okay, moving on. Jon
Snow.
So he is training people, and Melisandre comes and hovers over him, and he's like, ugh, and she's like, ee. I don't know why.
That was so funny.
I don't know why. But she's like, the king would like to speak with you, and he's like, can I go get changed because I'm sweaty and in no fit state to stand before a king? And she's like, okay, we shall await you atop the wall. And Jon's like, oh, clearly, this is the real queen. and not the one he left at Eastwatch. They're like, good for you to catch up. So he gets...
For what we've been knowing for 2 books.
Yeah. So he gets changed and dressed and whatever. And he goes to the cage because that's the only way they can go up the wall now. And Melisandre's there waiting for him. And so like, you know, she makes her elevator pitch. No, I'm just kidding. She does not. She smells red. The scent reminded him of Micken's forge, of the way iron smelled when red hot. The scent was smoke and blood.
Oh, God.
Interesting. And her rubies pulsing in time with the beating of her heart. And she's not dressed that warm, but her hands are like straight up like hot, warm, you know? She's like, this is how life should feel. Only death is cold. Ugh. Which is such a rude thing to say to a Stark, you know?
So true.
But anyway, Stannis is on top of the wall. The king of the world. Sorry. He's on top of the
wall. I'm on top of the wall, eh? I'm on top of the wall, eh?
You know, he's brooding and clenching his jaw and doing all the Stannis things. Yeah. And Jon, like, does his, you know, kneeling and, oh, I'm here for you to talk. You said you wanted to talk. And Stannis keeps referring to him as Lord Snow, and every time Jon's like, I'm not a lord. I'm not a lord.
Oh my God.
And I bet they've told you lots of stories about me, and let me tell you, most of them are true, but here's the rationale behind it. Yeah, here's the rationale behind it. And we go through the whole thing. We all know the thing, you know?
Yeah. He's basically just like, I never actually turned my cloak. I did some things, but I had a good heart. And Stannis is like, I believe you. And he's like, wait, I thought I was going to have to...
like, really grovel for this, yeah. And Stannis is like, I know Janos Slynt, and I knew Ned Stark as well. Father was no friend of mine, but only a fool would doubt his honor or his honesty, so...
Slay, Stannis!
That's something. Yeah.
Stannis is starting to get some perspective. I'm down with this.
Yeah. And Stannis has heard that it was Jon who found the dragon glass that killed the others, so... Ooh. That's also something. And Jon's like, well, it wasn't me. It was my ghost. It was my ghost. It was Ghost, my dire wolf. And all of those things. And Stannis is like, well, I know you held the gate here. And Jon's like, no, it was Donald Noy.
Oh my God.
And this is when Stannis confirms that Noy made my first sword, as well as Robert's Warhammer. Like, that was a rumor we've once heard about Donald Noy, but this is like confirmation of it. So that's cool.
Then what happened? So he did all that, and then they were
I
like,
think he lost his arm in the war, and he was like, you know what? Maybe I'll go make better use of myself at the wall. He was one of those people that volunteered to go to the wall as opposed to the other way. Yeah, Stannis is basically like, Donald Noy would have been a better commander than anybody who is going for it now. And Jon's like, oh no, I'm sure there's somebody.
He was the one who would always like be like, Jon, pick yourself up.
Yes.
You gotta, you're here now, like, gotta make the most of it.
Like, I agree with Stannis, like, definitely better than anybody. Well, I don't know anything about Dennis Ballister or Cotter Pike, but definitely better than Janos Slynt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jon's like, well, there's people that are going for it that Lord Mormont trusted. And Stannis is like, well, he trusted too easily, and that's why he's dead.
Oh, God.
And also, you brought me the magic horn and Mance Rayder's son. Oh, no, he says you captured the magic horn as well as Mance Rayder's wife and son. And this is when Jon's like, no, Dalla died, Val is her sister, and also I didn't capture them. I just stood there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And Melisandre confirms that she was the one who did the fiery to the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is such a sentence. So basically, Jon's like, the guy who was meant to guard me, the warg, got burned by... His eagle got burned, and I think it was you. And Melisandre's like, yeah, the Lord of Light has fiery talents. Which is like, why? Why do you gotta be like that, Melisandre?
Please. None
Just
of these
say.
people can take a compliment, basically, is where we're at.
No, it's not. But, like, she could just be like, yeah, that was me. Instead of, no, the Lord of Light has fiery talons.
I
Like,
know, but that's just, she's got to be dramatic, you know?
exactly. It's her brand, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Her and John would get along really well in a different life.
And he's like, well, there may be other leaders among the wildlings now. There's Rattleshirt. And John's like, that guy, he sucks. There's no, if there's any honor in him, he hides it down beneath his suit of bones.
Oh, God.
And Mans is like, maybe this Tormund guy. And John's like, you know what? He would make a good friend and a bad enemy. So make of that what you will.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this was interesting. Stannis kind of like challenges John a bit, and he's like, your dad was a man of honor, and like, he's like, you know, I didn't like him, but I understand, you know? And then he's like, your brother was a rebel and a traitor who tried to steal half my kingdom, but he was courageous, I'll give him that. But I'm like, isn't that literally what your brother did? Like, yeah. Your brother was literally a devil, his brother rebel and a traitor.
Succeeded. That's the difference.
Yeah, but it's just like, you know, Stannis is so like, I'm about what's fair.
He's not a fan of Robert either. He's like, you made me choose between my brother and my king, and I'm bitter about that. Yeah, so why do you think we're here now, Jon Snow? And Jon's like, well, I hope you came here because we sent for you, though I could not say why you took so long about it. And Stannis has to, like...
sassy.
Yeah, he's like, okay, you're clearly bold enough to be a Stark. I have come... if it were not for my hand, I would have come. So he says, my hand, present, it looks like. Mm-hmm. Lord Seaworth is a man of humble birth, but he reminded me of my duty when all I could think of was my rights. I had the cart before the horse, Davos said. I was trying to win the throne to save the kingdom when I should have been trying to save the kingdom to win the throne. Honestly, Davos just continues to be the greatest of all time.
And you think he was just like, let's toss him into the fire.
Listen, Davos is the greatest of all time. Stannis, not so much.
Stannis is lacking. Please.
Yeah, but we still don't know where Davos is.
He's commanding, he's literally the king's hand. King's hand doesn't mean stay right by the king. Hand does things.
Your hands are usually attached to your...
Your hands are far away from your brain, because they're doing different things.
Alright, fine. Blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, they're like, oh, we've got this fight to fight. And we're gonna fight against the others. And I need you for it. And I need more than a sword from you. And Stannis is like, I need the North. And Jon's like, how can that happen? Robb was the king in the North, not me. And Stannis is like, well, he should have stayed in Winterfell and been the Lord as he was supposed to be. But you are Ned's bastard. And you could be the Lord of Winterfell, basically.
Whoa.
And Jon's like, well, there's all these things, like, I'm a bastard. And he's like, well, I can legitimize you. And also, I swore my oaths to the heart tree. And of course, Melisandre has to be like, R'hllor is the only true god. A vow sworn to a tree has no more power than one sworn to your shoes, which, I don't know. So sucks. That so sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, open your heart and let the light of Lord come in. Burn these weirwoods and accept Winterfell as a gift of the Lord of Light. And Jon, like, flashes back to being a kid and dreaming of being a Lord of Winterfell. But he didn't realize that meant everybody would have to die. And he feels disloyal dreaming of that. Because it's like betraying them and wishing for their deaths.
This got me.
Yeah. All he had to do was say the word, and he would be Jon Stark, and nevermore a Snow. All he had to do was pledge this king his fealty, and Winterfell was his. All he had to do was forswear his vows again. To claim his father's castle, he must turn against his father's gods.
God.
Intense stuff.
Oh my god. It's like
Now this is a quarter life crisis.
Yeah, it's almost like, but yeah, this was a slay. I was like, go off. This is
like his thoughts?
This is good. Yes.
Okay.
Not having to make the choice. That's not a slay. But
what did you think of Stannis offering it?
This was, I mean, it makes sense, but also it was like, I don't know. I just I understand that there needs to be like a legitimate claim and like all that. And like, you know, having a Stark do it. Like, I understand, like, you know, Stannis needs all the pull he can get, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And having like a literal child of a Stark is like, you know, that's good. And it's like the claim. But it's just like, I don't know. I just didn't expect it from Stannis, basically. And I wonder if this was a Stannis move or if it was a Mel move.
Interesting.
But yeah, like I don't know. It was interesting.
Well,
but the thing is, then he can't be Lord Commander.
Yeah, okay, but
he's
you
Lord
were like,
Winterfell.
But Dennis Mallister is going to be Lord Commander.
I know, but like
according
eventually.
to you from 20 minutes ago.
I know, but eventually.
That's true. What would you rather he be, Lord Commander or Lord of Winterfell?
Honestly, Lord Commander.
Really? Why is that? I
think, obviously, I believe that he is a Stark, right? But
or do you believe that he's a Targaryen?
Okay, both. Well, he's both. But I also, it's one of those things where I think
that would be an awkward conversation when Bran and Rickon eventually show up.
True. Okay, there's that. Because, yeah, there's other good people. That's literally what I was going to say, is I think I see him as a really good Lord Commander. And I think he could do a really good job at Lord of Winterfell, but I just don't know if, he's the best person for the job, considering that there's so many other people alive that could also do it, and then we could have two Starks in power, doing good things. But I also just, I just don't know if it's where he excels, because I think with Robb, and, you know, we've talked about with, the Firstborn, with Robb and with Joffrey, there's, this, you're going to lead, so let's train you, let's get you ready. And so, with Robb, I feel like he was such a natural, but then I think with Lord Commander, you need to have a different type of leadership, and it's more it's different, because it's, in some ways, it's more think on your feet, rather than yes, you have to be strategic, but it's less planned out strategic, because your foes aren't people. They're, it's magic, you know? Mm-hmm. You can't just, outsmart Tywin's plan. This is, a fucking other, you know? So I think
But as Lord of Winterfell, he could unite the North against the others.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He would be good at that, too, but I just feel like his place is as Lord Commander.
Know your place, Jon Snow.
In a good way, not in, a... take you down a peg. And I also just think I also think that the Lord, even though we just had a Lord Commander die, I think that the Lord positions in Westeros come and go. If he's only gonna, the statistics are more in his favor if he does Lord Commander of surviving.
Surviving. Okay, fair enough.
Longer and actually doing
anyway,
shit, so.
Stannis is well, you know, we scattered most of the free folk, but they will return and we'll have to fight them, which I'm will you? And the more we bleed each other, the weaker we shall be when the real enemy falls upon us. And Jon's yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. And Stannis is so to counter that potential, my plan is to allow the free folk through the wall, those who will swear me their fealty and pledge to keep the king's peace and the king's laws, and take the Lord of Light as their god. That's a lot of conditions there, Stannis.
Oh god.
I will settle them on the gift, and when the cold winds rise, we shall live or die together. It is time we made an alliance against our common foe. So he's got the right idea. Although asking people to give up their entire culture and gods is...
That's a little too much. Come on.
Maybe there's room for a negotiation? Do you think Stannis will negotiate?
That's the issue with Stannis, is he doesn't negotiate. I think the thing is, like, obviously he's gotten better recently, but I think in his mind, this is a negotiation.
Like, this is him compromising?
This is him compromising.
Mm.
I think in his mind, because he's like, oh, well, like, I'm not going to punish you at all for what you did, so technically
But what did they do?
Well, he's like a fucking colonizer. Like, in his mind, it's like, oh, you can't just, like, fucking cross, and, like, you can't try to attack us. Like, you know, I think in his mind, he is compromising by not punishing them. So I don't think that he's gonna compromise further, as he would call it. But I also don't see the free folk being like, yeah, let's just do this.
Yeah.
So, right idea, but the execution is still not gonna work, so I'm worried.
So, yeah, Jon's also worried. And... but Stannis, his way to ensure this plan will work is to seal it with a new alliance through marriage. I mean to wed my lord of Winterfell to this wildling princess.
Oh,
Which,
God.
once again, he's got it so wrong.
Oh, God.
Jon's like, well, she's not just gonna marry whoever you tell her to marry. That's not how that works. And then also, she's not a princess. She's just one of the people. Like, why would anybody care who...
Yeah.
Someone's married to him, whoever's
That's not how the hierarchy works, buddy.
Yeah. And Stannis is like, so does that mean you don't agree to my offer? And Jon's like, no, can I just have some time to think about it?
Oh my God.
And Stannis says, as you wish, but consider quickly, I'm not a patient man, as your black brothers are about to discover.
Who's he gonna make Lord Commander?
Oh, you think he's gonna make somebody Lord Commander?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know who, though.
Huh?
I don't know who, though.
Right.
Maybe just, like,
but
Dennis.
I don't imagine it'll be Janos Lint, because he doesn't like the guy.
At all. No.
So you think it's... So he'll make one of the people running Lord Commander?
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna put up one of his own guys as the Lord Commander or something?
I don't think so. Because
my friend trust... Davos here. He's about to take the black, I name him Lord Commander.
That would be an interesting compromise of, like, this is a punishment, but also I respect you.
Oh, yeah.
I almost want to predict that. No, it won't happen.
But he's at Eastwatch. That would take days, and Stannis is not a patient man.
Right.
According to you, he's at Eastwatch, by the way.
Yeah, but I also think, like...
Not dead in a grave, sorry.
You think they had time to bury him? After burning him? Like, what are they gonna bury? A fucking urn?
The ashes?
Oh, God. Okay. I don't think he's gonna prop up his own people, because he also doesn't really like any of his own people anyway. So I don't even know if he has enough.
He won't say Melisandre. Meet Melisandre, your new Lord Commander.
No freaking way.
Okay, so he's gonna prop up one of the existing Night's Watch people as the king. Oh, not the king, the Lord Commander. But will people abide by that? Will they be like, yeah, that's cool. We'll let you name our leader and be okay with it?
I think there might be a bit of, like, you know, a little bit of revolt vibes, but I think he'll be like, well, yeah, well, I'm your king, and I came to save you, but they'll be like, but we're impartial, and he'll be like, okay, but I saved you.
Okay.
So, I think that it'll work. Maybe.
Alright. You sound so sure of yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, predictions. Will Jon agree to this?
Jon, I don't know. I keep going back and forth.
I know you don't know, but what do you think?
I'm like, Jon, I don't know anything. In this chapter, at some place, he was like, even though I don't know anything, I know blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh. But I think... I don't think he'll accept it, because I think this is his redemption. Not redemption, like, obviously everything that he did, like, breaking his vows and all of that, he had to do. But I think especially with the whole thing with, like, Ygritte and breaking his vows in that way, I think this will be, like, his comeback of, like, it's almost like Jaime's arc of, like, regaining his honor in that way.
Okay.
So I think, but then, here's what, I keep flip-flopping, I can't make up my mind, because then but then the thing is, like, Lord of Winterfell and, like, Warden of the North or whatever is, like, it's a more powerful position within Westeros. Like, you have sway, you can do different things, but also it's Lord Commander, or not Lord Commander, like, the Wall is kind of supposed to be a separate entity. I know that, like, you know, and if the king, like, helps out or whatever, it's still, like, a separate, impartial entity. So it's kind of like, if he chooses to be Lord of Winterfell, Stannis can just, like, remove him. So there's also, like, he has more power, but there's more politics and almost more limitations to what he actually controls.
He would effectively be Stannis's puppet.
Yeah.
To, like, owe everything in his identity to him. So say Stannis loses this war, Jon Snow be dead.
Basically. Yeah. So, I don't know, I keep flopping, but I think at the end of the day, he's gonna choose to stay and do what he's doing. And re-earn himself, yeah.
The free folk, will they agree to Stannis's deal?
I don't think so, but what choice do they have? I guess, like, someone else can try to do it, but I think the spirit has almost been broken now. You know, because they're like, oh, there's so many more people, like, we can't win anymore. So they'll just give in
to, like, get on the safer side of the wall?
I think so. I think they might give in, and then kind of, like, once they're in, maybe try to get together and, like, do something about it. Like, maybe be like, oh, yeah, we agree, but then, like, try to negotiate after, just for the sake of, like, getting there.
We're on this side now. What, are you going to push us through the other side? All 100,000 of us? Yeah. Any other predictions in this chapter? Oh, Val. How's she going to react? Okay, so Jon's not going to agree to this, but will they bring this up to Val before then at all?
I think so, and I think she'll probably just be like, what the fuck, basically. Because she also, like, her boyfriend died, right?
Oh, yeah, he was the guy who was climbing the wall.
Yeah, so she's probably also gonna be like, the fuck? I'm still fucking grieving that shit, like, shut up. So. But I think she's also really busy taking care of her sister's kid, so. Okay, wait, also, we forgot to mention, but basically, she was like, I want to show Mance's kid. And then Jon asks Jon asks Stannis, but he's like, why would I give him that mercy? But I hope they do that. Yeah. That'd be sweet.
Do you think they will? Or will Mance burn before that ever becomes a thing?
I don't think they will.
Will Mance be burned at the stake or whatever?
Yes.
Lovely.
Also, I had another thought.
Mm-hmm.
Jon is King's blood, if our predictions are right.
Oh, no.
Right?
Yeah, but nobody knows that. I don't think there's a blood test she could do that's like, oh, let me lick some of your blood off your finger. Oh, yeah, that tastes like King's blood. Or maybe she can. Oh, my God. I said that as a joke, but I bet that's a thing she can do.
She's like a vampire. Ugh.
And that's how they find out that he's a Targaryen.
Oh, God, I would cry. No, because I feel like, I swear to God, if this book introduces vampires, I'm done. I can't. We've had every other, like, friggin', anyway, with the Jon being King's blood issue. But how I think she'll figure it out is, like, because she can see the flames, right? So she might see him being sacrificed and then be like, what was his origin story again? Who did he have him with? Like, who did Ned have Jon with? So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Melisandre can see the future. Maybe she can see the past, and she'll, like, taste his blood and, like...
oh,
like,
shit!
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just fan theorizing. Okay, next chapters?
Yeah.
We're reading 2. Give me your hopes and predictions.
Let's do Sansa and Davos.
Wrong.
Whatever, hater.
We're reading chapters 77 and 78 next time. Chapter 77 is Tyrion.
Whoa,
He
Tyrion.
be in the black cells waiting for his death call.
Okay, well, he's not dead yet, because we have a chapter from him. Maybe he's Oh yeah, Jamie's gonna come save him, or Brienne's gonna come save him.
Moving on. Chapter 78 is Samwell Tarly.
We'll probably find out what happens with the whole Lord Commander-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yay.
Okay. Well, we don't have any emails today, so I guess we'll wrap up. Do not forget to send us the theories and questions you want us to discuss for the wrap-up episode. Do it soon. And it's best if you email it because I can better hold on to it, but it's okay if you message it or Discord it. That is also fine. Yeah, speaking of Discord, join it. The link is in the show notes. And send us emails. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. And join us on Instagram @popculturesymposium. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.